Horizon Chase Turbo was released in 2019. The game is 2-player and 4-player local co-op. It's a retro arcade racer. There's quite a lot more than meets the eye with this game. It has also been pulled from the digital stores on the Sony side. I've seen physical copies of this on PS4 at £50 now. I think the Switch physical is probably the way to go. It was sequeled in 2024 and it's retained its local co-op, both 2-player, 3-player and 4. The game will get on the channel this year, I promise. I am Couch Coop.
Dopamine administered.
It does a number of things to stand out as a local co-op racer, and I do want to point out that you can open up the tournament mode by doing that campaign a bit, and that's amazing because you can queue up loads of races, have a point system going with whoever you're playing with locally. Also got quite a lot of DLC, Ayrton Senna and some summer vibes. Never got to look at it, and I'm pretty sure all of that is still functioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So just below, it looks like a light, you can actually touch it.
Oh.
I do have the pleasure of thanking housemate Sean for this footage. Bro very kindly swung in to help me with this video. And the next one coming up, which is going to be blinding. Let's look at those reasons to why Horizon Chase Turbo is a very good local co-op arcade racer. This game's very far from one and done. You can actually open up loads for the cars and get loads of cars opened up, special paint jobs, but more importantly, progress through that world map and get new courses. The next thing is that it's got the most ridiculously accessible layman set of controls. I play the game on the directional buttons and you can tap left or right. You are not wrestling with huge amounts of complicated drift mechanics, and this enables just about anybody to pick up the pad and get fully invested in this. You'd think this system, literally tapping left and right, would just lose the game's depth completely, but because of the AI cars and because of how undulating the maps are, you're constantly weaving in and out, and you're constantly looking to avoid hitting the back of another car. That really puts you back on the speed front. And of course some corners will require a little bit of brake action, but not all of them. The earlier you get on the correct direction for that corner, the better you take it. So you're really aware of that mini-map and what's going on with the course. It also runs like a complete peach on the PlayStation 5, and it did over on the base level PS4. Brilliant frame rates, and I love the retro look of it all, the colours, the vibrancy, and its speed. Now the next thing, talking of speed, is that you all or both get nitrous, allocated amount. You can pick up some on certain courses. This is to be expended at your free will, and they become integral, and using them and not screwing it up or doing them on a corner or behind a car becomes super important. Crashing or hitting the side is not the be all or end all, so bouts can go on with loads of action. You can catch each other up. This is not like a Gran Turismo situation where a prang puts you back 4 laps. And talking of Gran Turismo, you always get a whole bundle of AI cars in every single race, and they're hilarious to deal with. They cause so many problems, and as mentioned, weaving in and out of them on the apex of a corner at full speed is a lot of fun. Couple this with 0 damage and your reasons to go hell for leather are abundant. You can also full-on screen cheat and block your opponent trying to make a pass, which will cause all manner of swearing, but the recovery isn't horrendous, so there is skullduggery everywhere. We need to add the fuel consumption element, which is something that blew my mind when I first got to the game. Over on the bottom right, you've got a fuel gauge. Now, when you're in your first couple of laps, you're not really paying attention to this. You do get to pick them up as standard on every lap, but if it's 3rd or 4th lap and you haven't gone near any, you get an alarm, your car will stop, it will crawl along, and the amount of times I've had that happen on the finishing straight and my opponent whistle past me is unreal. This game runs absolutely perfectly with 4 players local. It's made loads of my 4-player lists. I will link them all in the description. That is another string to its bow. We also have to mention that music is absolutely reach for the lasers. Totally puts you in this Horizon Turbo trance. And lastly, I think this is really important. When we were looking at those screens at the beginning, we went into the world map and did the campaign content as opposed to the tournament, and that opens up all of the unlocks and progression points that you would get in your single player. So everybody is contributing to the game's progression. So new cars will open up, new courses will be available. The game will gradually expand the more you play it on local co-op. That one is so important because it feels like you're wheel spinning, for a better pun, when it comes to progression on a lot of arcade races. I also must mention, thank the gods that the sequel didn't go online only with no local co-op. 7 Days to Die, Ollie Ollie, Enter the Gungeon, Helldivers. On the subject of 9th generation split screen games, Dirt 5 stuck to its roots, and I'm probably due to drag that back on the channel for a pat on the back. I also produced a big list. I will link. There are some good split screen racers out there still. My name was Coop, and I look forward to seeing you down there. What was that?